Good morning, everyone. Bezrat Hashem at 8:15. We're going to be praying Mincha. Please be on time. The halacha tells us about matches. Is a match considered to be Muktze? So first of all, on Shabbat, it's very clearly Muktze because it's not allowed to be used for lighting a fire. That's asur to do on Shabbat. So certainly that's Muktze. There is an insight that on Shabbat itself, you're still allowed to move a match if you need the location. Let's say you have a box of matches that's on one of the chairs and you want to sit over there and it's annoying to sit on matches, so you want to pick it up and you want to move it, you would be allowed to move it, even though matches don't have any other purpose other than their asul purpose. And therefore some authorities say that it's considered to be Muktze Machmat Gufo, the highest level of Muktze, which means you wouldn't be able to move it at all for any intent, even if you need the space. However, Chacham Ovadia says we don't say that. We say since it does have some purpose, even though that purpose is only of Isur, and there is no heter, there's no permissible purpose, still it has the status of Kli Shemelachto Isur, which is a middle form Muktze, which means I can't just move it around, but if I need the space, I would be able to move it even on Shabbat. So yes, it is considered to be Muktze on Shabbat. However, it does have the leniencies like every other Kli Shemelachto Isur. What about on Yom Tov? On Yom Tov, we know you're also not allowed to strike a match. You're not allowed to light a fire from scratch because of Yom Tov. However, on Yom Tov, you're allowed to use a match to transfer a fire, meaning to say a match is something that lights very efficiently, very effectively. So you want to use a match from an existing fire and go and to use it to light something else, that would be permitted to do, and it's very practical to do. So therefore, a match does have a permissible usage on Yom Tov. Now, there's no question to use it for that purpose on Yom Tov would be allowed. However, the real question is, but wait a second, what's the primary purpose of a match? It's to light it from scratch, not to light it from an existing fire. So there's some authorities that say, well, it's true that you're allowed to use the match for the simplicity, for the easiness of transferring the fire, but the match itself does have the status of Muktze because its primary purpose is for something that is asur, and therefore you wouldn't be able to handle it except for the same rules that you would be on Shabbat if you needed the space or if you wanted to use the entity of the item itself. What Chacham Ovadia argues is that matches on Yom Tov could be viewed as a Kli Shemelachto leheter, because since this is a fire and that's a fire, both are called fires. And it's true that when you light it from scratch, it's melachto, it's considered to be something that's asur. But when I light it from an existing fire, it's mutar. And they're both called lighting. So therefore, it's not called primary purposes of isur and the secondary purpose, because these aren't two utilities. It's one utility, and within that utility, you have heter. Therefore, one could make an argument that matches on Yom Tov have the status of a kli shemelachto leheter, which means it would be able to be moved even if it wasn't such a major necessity, like any other instrument of it, like a chair, like we talked about forks and knives, all the utilities that you can use it for. And therefore, Hamadia says, Halacha le'maaseh, if someone wants to handle matches on Yom Tov without using them, just to handle them, they would have on what to rely, and we consider it to be not Muktze. However, since there are some opinions that hold that it's considered a Kli Shemelachto le'isur, it should only be handled lechatchila on the best way to be machmir is to only handle it for things that it would be mutar to use other kelim shemelachto leitu, i.e. existing fire transferring. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.